welcome to my channel. I'm Laura and I'm so happy to have you join me today. And if you're new here, consider giving me the thumbs up as it really helps my channel, but also by subscribing, leaving me your comments because I love to hear from you guys. And make sure to turn on your notifications so you know when we have new content to share with you. And we have also added many of our projects to our website. So I'll leave the link for the website in the description below so you can check that out when you have a chance. So all right, let's get started as I show you how to make these really beautiful, lacy, messy wrap pendant and earrings. The materials we are using today is a 24 gauge wire. We have a 30 gauge wire as well. This is made from the 24 gauge wire, and I quite simply made the two size rings. One was by wrapping the wire around the larger end of this mandrel, and then the smaller one, which is the inside one, on a smaller part of the mandrel, on the inside part of it there. Muck around with that and see what sizes actually work for you. We have another 24 gauge piece of wire, and that's going to make our jump ring here. This is what we're going to use to make that jump ring, and then we have just a variety of pliers. Alright, to start off we are going to just make our jump ring here, and we quite simply, and you don't actually have to use these, you can use a barrel nose plier as well. So we're just going to go in and curl this like so. It gives us a nice loop, and then we're going to snip it off where this began. Right there, give it a snip, and voila, there is our jump ring. So we're just going to set that off to the side for a moment here, and we're going to actually work on the frame of our pendant. So taking each one of these, what we want to do, and once again I'm using this, is we want to create a loop on either end of these ones here. So I'm going to fit it to my smallest part on my pliers here, and that's going to create this really great little loop, perfectly round, very nice. Okay, and do that on both sides of that. Do the same thing here. And it just makes short work of this kind of a part of the process. All right, awesome. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make these two pieces fit together. So what we're going to do, instead of these laying flat like this, we're going to just turn them sideways. Turn that one like that, this one like this, so you can see that they're flat facing to the sky instead of towards each other. Same thing with this here. Turn it so that it faces the sky. And we want them actually bent the same direction as well. So we'll tighten it up just a titch. Okay, and it's easy to lose your shape with these as well. So they're going to fit together like so. Okay, and we can work on the shape a little bit as we go along. Alright, so we're just opening our jump ring, just opening it up sideways there. And we're going to take our smaller piece because it fits inside, and we're going to pop on our larger on one side. This can get a little tricky, so you can bring in your pliers. And I like these pliers because they are meant for jewelry and they are non-scarring, so they don't mark up your wire as much. There's never any guarantees where that's concerned, but it's not as much as what some of the other pliers can do. Okay, so there we go. Now we have our basic frame shape, and we're going to be manipulating this throughout the entire project, just because wire ends up kind of wonky sometimes when you're working with it. All right, just pressing those together. Fantastic. Okay, that gives us the framework for our pendant. All right, so now we're busting out the 30 gauge wire, and for this we will be using a pretty long length of it, so it can get snagged, it can get caught on objects around you, and my little workspace here is fairly small, fairly tight in here, so sometimes it ends up making a lot of noise, and I apologize in advance for that. Okay, so taking the end, what we're going to do is we're going to just wrap the wire just to anchor it, and it doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right, but we're going to anchor it at these loops that we made at the top of our framework. And we're just taking that wire and we're just wrapping it around, 4 or 5 times, I guess. And I'm not worrying too much about this little tail at this point, because we can make it disappear into the rest of our design. Now, it's a very, very loose design, which I quite like. That really appeals to me. So really all we're doing is just creating all of these random loops and swirls, and periodically we are just wrapping them around the frame of the pendant itself. But to start off with, so that we have something for the wire to grip, is we're going to do just a loose wrap around the framework of our pendant. And I'm getting all tangled up right out of the gate here. I hope that's not a harbinger for things to come. So let me just straighten this out a bit again. Okay, and so then we're just going to wrap around the frame of our pendant. This helps strengthen it as well. It just gives it a little bit more girth, and once again it helps with securing our loopy wire. And I can feel like I'm getting a bit of a snaggy end here on here, so I'm going to just trim that off. Anytime the wire feels like it's catching on something, check your ends, okay? Because that's likely what is happening with it. And it can end up being a tangled mess as well. So check the status of your wire regularly. Okay, I'm going to straighten that out again. This is really good for you guys to see. It's kind of like the blooper reel. Okay, gonna just take that a little bit slower is what I'm gonna do. And this is quite a long length of wire we got here too. You can work with shorter lengths if you prefer. as this is probably about 1.5 meters. So it is quite a long length. All right, now that we've done that, we're going to come through and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do a loose wrap around our inside piece of our framework. Now this piece of jewelry was inspired by a woman that I met in Colorado, and she had this fabulous jewelry on, which was very similar to this, and she said she actually had gotten it in Europe, and hers was quite expensive jewelry, but I just absolutely loved it, and it stuck with me. It was something that that I remembered, and I'm not a big jewelry person per se, which might seem kind of strange being a girl and all, but and that hasn't always been the case. When I was younger, I actually had a lot of jewelry, and but yeah, it's just something that I kind of grew out of. Anyway, I digress. So this gal's jewelry just was really stunning, and I just knew that at some point I was going to have to make the attempt to make something similar, of course. So here we are. This is my version of her jewelry. And you know what, now that I look at it, it sort of has an upside down kind of crescent moon look to it, doesn't it? Okay, so now that we have wrapped the frame of our pendant here, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to start to bend our wire. Bend it this way, and then bend it this way. We're making some beautiful swirls, and every couple of bends you want to go in and you just want to tack that to your frame somehow. All right, so then we're going to come back across. And don't hesitate to put your wire through the loops, up or down. And you know what, this wire is making me crazy. I'm going to have to just cut a length of it off. So as you can see, I'm starting to spread out the design a little bit, because we'll come back this way up to here, and then we'll come back and we'll fill it in so we get this really great coverage on this. So now I've come to the end here, and I'm going to start to work my way back and just fill in as much as possible. I mean, we still want to leave it fairly light and airy, but it's also good to have fairly good coverage. It strengthens the pieces is what it does, right? So it's always a good idea to go back and kind of weave the wires in amongst themselves. Okay, so now to finally strengthen the last bit here, I'm going to just kind of randomly take this last bit of wire, and I'm going to just poke it up through the design and just kind of wrap it around our framework here. And that's just going to make sure that none of it is pulling loose. And just go ahead and use what you have left, your wire. In my case, it's not much because I had cut off a fairly substantial bit of this because it was really making this quite a cumbersome process. But by all means, go ahead and add if you need to as well. It's just a good way to make sure that everything's going to stay together here. Okay, bringing that all up to the top of our piece. Give it a nice snip, nice and close here. Okay, and you can see that it's really quite a beautiful little technique here. And there you go, guys. There is our beautiful pendant and earrings set. Just a very random wrap, and it's very beautiful, very delicate looking. So for now, I'd like to say thank you so much for popping by and joining me to make this really great pendant and earring set. I really appreciate you being here. And don't forget to give me the thumbs up, as it really helps my channel. Hit that subscribe button, comment, and click the bell to make sure you get my channel notifications for when I have new content. So for now, thanks again, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.